How many folks get stressed out? It is one of those things that we recognize that everybody does, right? And you get stressed out here and there, right? We're going to be talking about some of the things that actually get you stressed out in the first place. And I see as soon as I said that, some of you all thought about some past relationships. Like some of you all are thinking about current relationships. Okay, if you're talking about your spouse, I hope they're not here now. But this is being filmed, so we will show that later. So make sure you've got some money in there. We're going to be talking about things that cause stress and how stressors actually change our lives and what we can do to actually take away stress. Fair enough? So we're just going to go ahead and let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we want to talk about what is stress in the first place. You all help me out. Tell me what causes stress in your life? Bills. That's a major stressor. It's one of those things that we're never going to get rid of. Okay, bills. What else? People. What kind of people? Who gets on your nerves?
Ugly people.
Ugly. Oh, man. Had to use the U word. Ugly people get on your nerves. All right. Your boss gets on your nerves. Wow, that's kind of messed up. Your boss gets on your nerves. Ugly people get on your nerves. Hey, we're gonna be stressed out for life. Okay. Anyone else? Who else?
Miscommunications between people.
Miscommunications between people, which is probably the number one cause of stress. Oh, yeah, without question. Relationships, which, of course, miscommunication is a big part of relationships and why relationships become stressful, right? Matter of fact, I got a simple philosophy on relationships. As a matter of fact, I think we should stop loving people.
No.
Oh, yeah, I kid you not. I really do. Most relationships start and most marriages start because of the L word, love. In actuality, love is what stresses us out because most people don't realize that love in and of itself is actually an emotion. It's an emotion just like anger or hatred or anything else. And people don't realize that you actually fall in and out of love. But you never fall out of like. So my simple philosophy is this, is that instead of marrying someone that you love, marry someone that you like. I know it sounds kind of crazy. How many of us have friends that we've been friends with for 15, 20, 25 years? Yeah. We have friends and we have friendships because we like them. That means even when they get on our nerves, we still enjoy hanging out with them. Right? Because we like their company. One of the challenges that we find in relationships is the fact that we no longer like the person's company. That means we no longer like the person. We can love folks we can't stand. Let's move on and let's take a look at some of these things here. Webster's definition of stress is simply this. It's an applied force or a system of forces that can actually cause strain or deform the body. If we think about this, I've seen people physically get deformed because they're stressed out. Our faces crinkle up, our necks get red, we get wrinkles on our forehead, all kinds of different things happen. Some folks eat too less, some folks eat too much. It's just one of those things that your whole body goes through a metamorphosis once you get stressed out. So we're taking a look at something that actually changes you physically. I like a second definition. It's a state of extreme difficulty. Something that's just different, something that's strange, something that takes you from point A to point B, that takes you to a whole other realm, make you act like a person who you're not. I love my definition. My definition of stress is simply life. What life brings. Life is just one of those things that if you live long enough, you're going to find something that you can be stressed out about. I always say that in life, it's one of the most beautiful things. It's the best gift that God ever gave us, but it's one of those things that you learn by trial and error, right? So it's one of those things that you have to go through some kind of stressors in order to build up tolerances to live with. Now, I'm a firm believer that you'll never, ever get rid of stress. It just won't happen. It's impossible. As a matter of fact, folks who talk about stress reduction and actually talk about stress management, those people who say that you can get rid of stress, you can alleviate stress, they're lying to you. It will never, ever happen. The key to life is understanding that there are stressors in life. However, what we do with those stressors will actually determine where we go in life. So we've got to accept the good with the bad. That's just part of life. Make sense? Yeah. Let's just take a look at some of these things and some of these causes of stress. Worrying. How many folks in here worry? Worry about things. You don't know more. I like that. It's interesting because I've known people in my life that will just worry warts. Wake up in the morning worrying. Go to bed worrying. They worry about every single thing. Worry how they look. Worry how their kids are going to act. If you have a small child, you can't sit up and worry about how your child's going to act because they're going to act a fool anyway. That's what children do. People worry that it's a lack of control causes stress. Let's look at some of these. Marriage and dating, major stressors. I guess we should know that now since the divorce rate currently is 54.3%, which is actually down. We actually reached a peak about 4 years ago at about 63%. So it's coming down. And there's some reasons for it. I mean, there's some things out there that you can catch that you can't get rid of. And it's making folks stick together whether you like each other or not. But it's a whole bunch of different things. Dating in and of itself can be stressful. I was listening to one speaker, and I thought it was just awesome, because one of the things that he said, and he was talking about relationships, he said that one of the biggest stressors in relationships or in dating is that first date, when you're trying to figure out what to do, and you're trying to figure out what to say when you're on that very first date. And he said, you know what the biggest challenge is? Folks usually go to dinner first, and then they want to go to a movie or go out. Well, at the time that you're going to dinner is the time that you really need to talk. Well, if it's your first date and you have no idea what to talk about, the best thing to do is to save the dinner for later, go to a movie first. Because at the very least, you have the movie to talk about. That makes sense? Yeah, I sat back and I thought about it when I heard this gentleman say it, and I said, you know what, he's an awesome man who does stress reduction workshops. And I when he said that, I said, wow, that's interesting. So I started introducing that to the relationship roundtables that we conduct. And I wanted to make sure that people understood, if you give something to talk about, you never have to worry about things to say.